Today we are going to talk about the recruiting journey of 4-star wide receiver Arjei Henderson, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Considering the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time, and today we are going to talk about the recruiting journey of Arjei Henderson, and it has been somewhat confusing, but also kind of exciting depending on where you stand on his recruiting and on his commitments. But let's just start from the beginning when Arjei initially committed to the first school he committed to, which was Oregon, and subsequently decommitted, committed to Oklahoma, decommitted, and now it seems if you watch the Under Armour All-American game, you can see in the second half of the game, he pulled out the chomp Gators hat when all the way leading up to that, it felt like Florida State was where he might have chosen to commit before that. But since we don't really know that he's going to sign with them because his recruitment remains open, and I think he's going to take it all the way to National Signing Day, you know that the Gators still have to recruit him pretty hard, and you also know that guys like Willie Taggart at Florida State still would try to go in there and get him. And there's no getting around that Arjei Henderson is a premier wide receiver. He was one of the great gets of the 2018 spring game when you had 7 guys from that commit to Oklahoma, ended up decommitting. We have thoughts about whether or not, he's going to qualify. I think he's gonna. I think it's moot at this point. I also think that he did what was best for him, decommitting in November, setting himself up to be able to pull the hat out at the Under Armour All-American game. And I really liked him. I really liked his tape. I really liked getting to know him. Smart kid. Also had the same slight of build that Trajan Bridges has. I felt like both of those guys might get toward inside receiver. They could go be outside receivers depending on what kind of scheme they're in. But with guys like Jaden Hazelwood and Theo Weiss already coming into a program where you're going to have CeeDee Lamb on the outside and Charleston Rambo on the outside, it was going to be a tight fit for him. And I think he wants to go to a place where he knows he's going to have the best opportunity to play right away and also not necessarily have the same sort of logjam at receiver as he would at a place like Oklahoma, where you're going to have some dogs out there. You're going to have some guys that are fighting for playing time, let alone trying to get catches. And I think that is what is going to make this 2019 class and this 2019 team so successful going forward is the depth at wide receiver is amazing. Honestly, when you look at not just CeeDee, Theo, Jaden, and even guys like Rambo, you also got Drake Stoops. You also have guys like Michael Jones. You got Jalen Robinson. You got Jaquaylin Crawford. I could go on here. But I guess what I'm saying here is I don't think that Oklahoma is even in play for Arjei Henderson. I believe that OU is full up at wide receiver in 2019. And I know that there are a lot of folks that want Oklahoma to go get some defensive tackles to fill out this class. I think they might be full up there too. We'll see about that. But you're really going to have to look to the JUCO ranks, I think, going forward. There are a few guys left that we'll be talking about as we progress toward National Signing Day. They're going to take official visits to Oklahoma. We'll get to those names sooner rather than later. But for this, I wanted to let everybody know Arjei Henderson has already committed to Florida. I expect him to end up signing there. They're going to have a really great team next year. If you watch the Peach Bowl, you could see that Michigan versus Florida was supposed to be a really great game in which Florida basically drubbed Jim Harbaugh's kids. And now I know everybody was missing some folks, but the game is the game. And I really like the way that they set up for themselves and Dan Mullens' offense in 2019. Dan Mullens, for his part, tweeted right after the commitment announcement to the Swamp, which is his form of the eyes for the Florida fan base. And, I understand that there's some folks that have some feelings about Arjei and his subsequent commitments and decommitments. But at the end of the day, you got to root for the kid. You got to root for the family to get to a place where he's going to have the best opportunity to succeed and come out whole. And that is what I'm rooting for. I believe that he's going to have an outstanding college career. And if you don't, you're in the minority, I believe. Now, why would I say you're in the minority? Because all you got to do is check the kid's stats, man. Over the past 3 seasons, Arjei Henderson has accounted for 219 catches, over 3,000 yards receiving, and 38 touchdowns. He's picked up over 40 offers, including the customaries of places like Oklahoma, Alabama, Texas, and absolutely showed out in the 2017 season with 81 catches for over 1,100 yards with 14 scores. In 2016, he really showed out with 100 catches for over 1,400 yards with 18 touchdowns. And now he'll roll into Gainesville, we think, as the top-rated recruit in their number 15 overall 24/7 composite recruiting rankings. I think, again, this is setting up nicely for RJ after what has been a long journey to get to a place where he can sign his national letter of intent, hopefully get onto campus, and hopefully do some nice things. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.